Welcome, goddesses and man gods, to the Modern Goddess Lifestyle channel, where we share sacred wisdom through modern methods. I'm your hostess, Allie McPhee, a women's health educator and raw food chef who helps women balance their hormones naturally with nutrition and divine feminine practices. I am so excited to share with you my interview with Birney, a chakra activation coach who helps women discover their true power, potential, and life path to start living the life they always knew they were destined for but could never reach. We dive deep into chakra health on all the levels, root to crown, and of course, my favorite, sacral chakra womb wisdom. So feel free to make yourself an elixir or tea, and without further ado, I present to you my chat with Sarah. So hello everybody, welcome. It's Sarah and I here, Birney, who is a chakra coach. And so this sister has a deep place in my heart. We had all of these synchronicities lead up to us meeting. A lot of synchronicities with us being in Costa Rica, not at the same time, not connecting there, but actually connecting in Michigan, in the place of both of our childhood homes, finding out that we went to like rival high schools same year, just never knew each other until we started walking our path. And then much longer later, we just happened to come back to the place of our birth and synchronize. And so much magic has unfolded for me knowing this woman. She is on the path to really help women just like embody this full understanding of chakras and energy healing and nutrition for all of these things. And so it's an honor to have her here sharing her wisdom. I feel very blessed that you're here, Sarah. I feel super excited to share you with the community here. And I know that you've been in this community space for a while, so you've posted some things, and so I hope women connect with you further and reach out with you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me in this group. I love the energy and I love what you've been building here. It's absolutely wonderful to be a part of.
Thank you, sister. So let's just dive into this, right? So as far as your work goes, so oftentimes women hear me talking about womb wisdom, womb clearing. So I'm in my work at this current moment, I'm very aligned with the sacral chakra, and we're constantly talking about things that manifest in the chakra in terms of block, self-worth issues, trauma. Anytime we said yes when we wanted to say no, even relationship stuff, family of origin stuff, our ancestry. And so we really look at things in terms of that perspective and how those energetics relate to hormonal balance, like the physical hormone balance, as well as foods that we can eat, herbal support. And so a lot of women are interested in learning more about that area of our body. And so for what you do, oftentimes you talk about the lower three chakras, so not just the sacral, but the root and the solar plexus, and how those lower three chakras can potentially have dense emotions of fear, shame, and guilt, and how to really drop into that space and feel that, and what comes up, feel it and have tools to actually work through it. And so, yeah, I feel that we're grateful to have you here to share some wisdom in these areas of our body temple that we might want to have some deeper perspective in. So, yeah, we'd love to hear your connection to these lower three chakras, why it's important to go there, how to go there. Anything you'd like to share with us, Goddess?
Definitely. Thank you so much. I absolutely love having you work in the sacral chakra. It's so important, especially for females. And a lot of the work I do, just like you said, the ancestral connection that we have the ability to heal not only us and our sisters around us, but our moms and our grandmas and our, really the world by tapping into this power source. But when I work, so what I've noticed in the world is there's a huge disconnect between the upper and the lower chakras, and that you can really get it. Everyone says tap into the flow and raise your vibration and connect with spirit and meditate all the time. And there's these things that are really, really beautiful things to focus on and to try to achieve. But with having it always be, Brian just walked by. So funny.
Oh, hey. That's her beloved. They're so sweet.
Walking my puppies right now. But having this, it's a little bit of an obsessive tendency that we have to be in our upper chakras with being intellectual and, you know, trying to vibe high, which is a beautiful thing to strive for. Absolutely beautiful. I think we should all strive for that, but it's not where we begin. If we go straight there, we live up in our headspace. We tend to get spacey, and we really disconnect with our bodies. We live in this ethereal, energetic body, which is such a really intense and beautiful area. But disconnecting from our body, I mean, especially like women and talking about the sacral chakra, we know this happens all the time, that we're kind of taught to disassociate with our bodies, our root, our wombs, our power, especially as females, you know, our empowerment and what we can do in the world. So I help people, you know, I talk about all chakras, and I run people through different courses that we go over every chakra. You know, we'll go through all of them, but it really starts at the base. So it's our foundation, and the rest, you want to build a container. So, or if you're building a home or something like that, you have to start with a firm foundation. And if you don't, it crumbles. So, you know, just knowing that you have to start building something. And a lot of that work is removing the things that are in the foundation that aren't serving you. And that's a huge piece of what I work with. And what you work with is removing these limiting beliefs and the guilt and the fear and the shame that you talked about. And just cleaning up the soil of this foundation so that we can plant whatever seeds we want. And this is the metaphor I use a lot, is it's soil. So we clear out our soil and we have a firm but soft base, right? And we want to be able to be flexible too. And then we plant the seeds of our desires, which is all chakra too. And, you know, and we give it love, and we give it sunshine, we give it power, and it grows, you know, and then we get to really root down to rise up. But if we don't have strong roots, we fall over, or we don't make it, or we just feel scattered. And a lot of this disconnect creates disease and creates anxiety and depression and a lot, especially mental problems, but also physical problems in the body. And that's all an indication that there's a disconnect between these upper and lower areas.
I can so relate to what you're saying. And yeah, I'm just thinking further on that analogy you gave of really nourishing the soils. And I'm not a farmer. I actually am wanting to go deeper into gardening, but I've just been kind of living all over, it feels like, the United States recently. But I used to have a garden, and I've gone last summer, 2 summers ago, I was out west, and I was helping my friend garden her garden, and just seeing the depth of everything that goes into that soil to help the microbes stay away so that they didn't actually have to spray pesticides on it. So the plant itself was more resilient and more sustainable and could protect its own energetics. Just that whole process of seeing how to actually physically nourish the soils and thinking that in terms of our body and our ecosystem and our energy centers and how to do that. I hear what you're saying. And yeah, really starting at the root is a good place to start, because that is, our connection to the source. It's our connection to our own grounding energies, our stability, our foundation. So what are some, just maybe like 1 or 2 clear, simple tips that we can kind of embody to connect with our root chakras and like build this nourishing, grounding foundation that you've been talking about?
Definitely, yeah. So one of these, the one I love to talk about, is one that I think you probably embody better than most people I know.
Oh, thank you.
Is to ground yourself. And the best way to do that is to be out in nature. I mean, you know, maybe you don't feel grounded all the time, but you make a really nice commitment to re-ground yourself and get back into nature. And I mean, even in the winter, you know what Michigan winters are like. I'm like bundled up and I'm rolling all over the ground in the snow, and just being, you know, making that connection with Mother Earth. And that can look a lot of different ways. You can physically have your bare feet on the ground, which is the strongest way to have a connection, or it also can be energetically and intentionally. You can connect at any time, no matter where you are. If you live in winter, you can also do that inside your house. So I would say grounding is one that I see the world being really disconnected. You know, we used to not wear shoes, and now we always have our feet kind of bundled up. You know, being a yoga teacher too, you see kind of the problems that start in the feet. And again, that's our root. in the body as well. So grounding is so, so, so important. Clearing space is another one that's huge, and this is in our body and in our physical world. Like our body is our temple, and we need to keep it really, really fresh and clear, and maintain that inner dialogue with it, and also our space around us. So our sanctuary, we have our temple and we have our sanctuary, and you know, we can work on either one, and it will in turn work on the other. You know, you can clear up your space around you and you're going to feel lighter inside, or you can clear up your space inside and then you tend to clear up your outer space as well. And my favorite one, and the one we're talking about today, is very much the way we feed ourselves, you know, our diet and what we put into our body. Like, I loved, you know, you took it a step further with what we give the soil. It's so true. I mean, if you plant something in some rough soil, it doesn't matter how many nutrients or how much sunlight or water you give it, it's just not going to be the plant that it can be. It might stay alive, but it's not going to be that robust, juicy, magical, you know, nourishing fruit that it could be if you really gave it that proper soil, which is our diet.
Totally. So is there any, like, just like a food, one food maybe you want to recommend, or an herb that is good specifically for the root chakra?
Yeah, so anything that grows in the earth. Beets have to be my favorite thing.
Me too. Me too. and
that you're gonna pull out: beets, carrots, onions, potatoes, all of those things.
Totally, just the energetics, the grounding aspect. Because if you think, you know, about plants as they grow, the roots, it's underneath the soil. It's very connected with Mother Earth, of this contracting energy of the darkness and the shadow. And then all the plants that grow above the soil, then they're getting the sunlight. They're very expanded. They're touching the rain and the air and everything. And so those plants have different energetics for it. And from what I personally do with the menstrual cycle is I teach, and I know you've heard me say this before, but for when we're ovulating, which is our fertility time of the month, that's when our energy is most expanded. We're in our inner summer. That's a good time to eat more of the plants that grow above earth. But then when we're contracting and we're going into our premenstrual phase and then into our menstrual phase, and we may have PMS come up and we need more space, we need stillness. At that time of the month, it's good to eat these grounding root vegetables because it helps us connect back into ourselves. It helps us ground our energy. So I totally agree with you with root chakra, grounding, nourishing root vegetables, and even beets. You're right. They're the color red. So the chakras all have colors that pertain to them as well. I love that. So if anyone is watching right now, I do see we have two people attending with us live. We love you. If you have any questions, please ask. We are here and we are wanting to assist you with all your juicy chakra questions and helping you understand more. So you can write in the comments below.
I love to always know who's watching and where everyone's watching from. That's my favorite thing about lives, is just seeing where we spread all around the US and the world.
Yeah, we'd love to hear. And if you don't have a specific question, if you just feel like sharing too, what's your relationship to your chakras? You know, do you feel more embodied in certain chakras than others? Do you feel more embodied in your lower or in your higher chakras? I know for our current day society, with the role of modern women, we can tend to be in a state of overgiving, and that can be an imbalance in the heart chakra, right? Because we're hearing the needs and serving, and oftentimes we can forget to give that love back to ourself and fill that cup up so that we actually have that abundant energy flowing to just help all of the relationships in our lives. So that can be something with the heart chakra. So see, I'm not seeing any comments, but yeah, please feel free, anyone at any point. We want to hear about your relationships to your chakras. Do you feel like one is blocked? Like, many women are experiencing tightness in their throats, even thyroid disorder, even sore throats. And a lot of that time it can be communicating our needs, communicating our boundaries, communicating what's important to us. So we want to hear from you. Where are you feeling blocks? Where are you feeling open?
A really simple way, if some people don't know like a ton about the chakras or really don't know where they're feeling, a really easy way, we're in the Chakra Sticks right now in my Align and Activate group. And so we talk about colors. Every chakra has a color and it has an energy, it has a vibration. But a great way to check in about the chakras or really don't know where they're feeling.
I'm getting some feedback.
Is if you look at your wardrobe, look around your house, and what color is your favorite color? And what color, if any, do you just not really have around? Like, I wear a different color for each week in that program. And when we got to chakra 2, and I think this is why I'm so drawn to Allie, I was telling her before this, because that's where my work is right now. I didn't have an orange shirt. And I have other, and Brian's favorite color, my husband, he's always loved orange. Orange has always been his strong suit. So I think that's also why I, gravitate towards him as well. So it's a really fun activity. Just look around and say, I only have green shirts. That could show that same imbalance in the heart chakra. And not that an imbalance is a bad thing. It's never bad to be too open or too closed or anything. All we're looking for is awareness. And then we can work with it in anything in life.
Totally. I so resonate with what you're saying. And we do have Erin. She's saying hello. She's from North Carolina. So hi, beauty. Welcome. If you have any questions, please let us know. But I so resonate with what you're saying. I actually had that realization when I was in Bali for the first time. So for me, like, I've always been gravitated towards the color blue. Like right now I'm wearing these these beautiful blue pants. And there was one point in my closet that everything was blue and turquoise. And I may have inherited that from my mother because she's a teacher and her favorite color is blue. And it's always been my favorite color too. And I do see myself as kind of like a teacher, a communicator, a writer. I love communicating. I love speaking. I love words. I went to school for English originally. So, and then now I'm very much like in menstrual wisdom. So I'm more gravitated towards red. And I find that a lot of the things that I'm more gravitated towards are of the color red. And so when I got to Bali, I had the same thing happen with the orange. So when I arrived there, they said that Bali is what they told me there, the spiritual community, is that Bali is an area on the earth that pertains to the sacral chakra. And I didn't know that, but I was very gravitated towards that space because I just felt this like sensuality. Every time I thought about it, I just felt blissful. I felt sensual thinking about Bali and planning my trip. So when I arrived in Bali, I actually saw one of my friends who I hadn't seen in like 6 years. She just so happened to be there, divinely synchronized at a yoga retreat. And we had like several days overlapping. Probably many of you who are watching this might know her, Hannah Marie Dakini. She's, I think I'm going to be interviewing her at some point in the near future. But she and I've done the Modern Glam Goddess retreat together. That's who that woman is. But so she arrives and we go and we have elixirs at this delicious raw food restaurant in downtown Ubud. And being in the presence of just the vast like mother nature type of energy, and then even in the city in Ubud, all the architecture, all the design, the way that they create that space, it's very beautiful. It's very ceremonial the way they live their lives, and I felt super stimulated. And then seeing Hannah for the first time in years, and she's very much embodied in her sacral chakra. She does a lot of tantric work, and so seeing her, it was like between that and then meeting her kind of as like my guide into the city, I had this like profound sacral chakra activation opening. And then what I noticed is that because Bali is full of amazing shops. There's like literally so many beautiful clothing, jewelry, yoga centers, all the things, all the delicious gluten-free treats everywhere, every corner. And when I was going to buy clothes, they were all orange. I literally got a whole new wardrobe and it was all orange. And I didn't make that connection until like halfway through, and I was sitting home with all of it. Like, I'm decked out in orange right now. And this is the sacral chakra place of our world. And I'm having this like full on sensuality opening, and I was ovulating at the time. So it was super juicy, and we're going to the waterfalls. And so I feel you there. our clothing, what we have around us, definitely reflects our chakras, as well as places we go on the planet. There's an energetics there that also pertains to chakras, and it's really interesting how things can be activated.
That is so funny because Brian and I, it's just when you said that, I was like, this makes so much sense. We've been talking about Bali daily, every day for like a few months now. We're like, let's just move to Bali.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's where my work is. I mean, I'm actively in that space right now. I've been really working on my root for a while, and it is a ladder. There's these manifesting and liberating currents that move through the chakra system. So, we talk about this liberating current to become more high vibe and connected, and just to be like a light worker in the world that's working with the upper chakras. So it really is a ladder. It's a step by step, so I really like to start with people on the base, depending on what they're working with. I start with people at the top and move down too, and you can that's how you manifest anything. It's an idea. It comes from our collective unconscious, and then you move it through the steps, and our chakra of manifesting is chakra 1. So you have to get it all the way through in order to bring something into the physical world and manifest it.
This is good. I'm so glad you're talking about manifestation. This is actually in the program I just launched, the Juicy Feminine Living program. Manifestation is our last portion. We kind of go through a step-by-step process too, and then it's like, what are we using with this Shakti, this creative energy we've been building? What are we manifesting with? So I love that you bring manifestation in, because a lot of the women who are part of this group probably are very intuitive, very creative, probably have spiritual gifts and ideas that flow in. And what I've noticed, a lot of people who have told me, and I've even noticed this with myself sometimes, and especially in my past, was I would get these creative downloads. I get intuitive messages all the time, but then I wasn't actually taking them, creating something in the physical, rooting them down, grounding them into my life, and then like birthing with it. It was more like idea. And it felt like this energy leakage. It was exciting, but it was overwhelming because nothing was actually coming through and being birthed. And I just felt like I was a creative idea manifester, but like what was actually being produced from it? What was actually getting done? Yeah. So I love that you bring up the idea manifestation. And if there's any like little tidbits you'd like to share with that process with us, yeah, we'd love to hear.
Yeah, well, just when you said energy leaks, like we talk about creating a container. So you can think of this as like, it's your central channel, right? So we're creating a container. It all starts with the foundation, but also this is why we activate chakras. And like you said, the heart chakra being too, overactive can push this container and make leaks in the container as well. So we really want to address all of them, but it starts at the base, and you build this container so that you don't have energy leaks. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point. Like we often have, and limiting beliefs and all these ideas, they're just patterns that we've picked up and learned from other people. They're not bad. They're never bad. Or maybe we've experienced a trauma or whatever it is. And we work on that. Those aren't bad. They're just patterns. It's the way that our energy system works to keep us safe for the next time something may or may not happen. So it's a beautiful way that we're programmed, but it is a program. So just accepting that you get to change your program and build this container is amazing. And when we move this way, a lot of people have chakra 2 is all about desires, so a lot of people they get all the way down to the bottom. And then it's this disconnect with the body. It's this disconnect with where they are, where they live, or their home. I work with a lot of like nomads too. So their ground is always being shook, they don't have a really stable area. So often they get through and they are super creative and they have all these ideas and divine downloads and they love them and they're just beautiful people and they're giving it so much energy, and their base is just not firm. And so they have a hard time with that last piece of bringing it out into the world. And it's a really interesting thing to see. It's like they do all the work. So if you've ever done all the work, I did this when I lived in Costa Rica. I wrote a program for 2 years and I never launched it, right? I did all the creatives, all the pieces. It was done. I wrote it with Brian. We did so much work, but it was that last, we felt so, we were very disconnected. We were only eating coconuts, right? And things that grew on the trees. I mean, we didn't feel like it was necessarily, we weren't grounded. We just were disconnected. So we weren't able to bring it into fruition. And a lot of that, chakra 1 has to do with fear. So it's the fear of what will people say? And most of the time people are going to say, holy shit, this is amazing. But we just, we get in our own way. And that often is, because we're not addressing this root issue.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. I want to reflect on that. First, I want to say, hi, Morgan. Thank you she says she's from Noblesville, Indiana. Thank you for introducing yourself.
Yeah.
We're going to stay on here a little bit longer. So again, if anyone has questions, we're here for you. Please let us know. This is kind of like your one-on-one time and our group collective time. So if you have things you want to share too, experiences you've had with chakras, like this is a sisterhood here. So when we share our stories, we empower each other, we heal, we support each other. I believe that our stories are where the healing is, and through our stories we can heal and support the whole. So yeah, you were talking about the root chakra and grounding and ideas and the fear. I love that you went there. You and I have had some private conversations about this. Just the ability to go there, to truly go there. Oftentimes when we have this idea and we're ready to go with it, there's always something that's hindering us. And this, again, could be like family beliefs or, just through our own life history. If we've been procrastinators, labeling ourselves as that, and then having these unconscious programmings pop up. And what I was telling Sarah a couple weeks ago, I was launching my online course, Juicy Feminine Living, which I was super, super excited about. This is something that's literally been birthing out of me for years. And then the last 5-6 months really focalizing, creating content and everything for that. But at the same time, I got invited to chef at this amazing, exquisite goddess retreat in Kauai. And it was like double team, launching the course and then agreeing to go chef at this beautiful retreat in Kauai. And so for me, there was kind of a lot of fear in the beginning that came up. Can I do both of these? Am I going to burn myself out? Is this taking on too much? And both felt like they were somehow synchronistically, energetically connected. And that if I went for both of them, I would be like, the Divine Mother was like, intuitively, I was hearing, you will be supported. This is your heart's art. This is like your full alignment. Go for it. And what became apparent to me is how much the fear was holding me back from actually just doing something, actually just writing a blog post, actually just creating my program, actually just going out to Kauai and chefing for these women. How much that fear was creating this block. And I just committed to myself, I'm just going to go for it, because if I don't go for it, it'll never happen. And I could either go for it, quote unquote, fail, which is really just a learning lesson. And then I can pick up the pieces and have so much knowledge to move forward in life from all this beautiful opportunity. Or I could just go for it, see what happens, and put my whole heart and soul into it and have it be a success, which happened. It was a lot of work. It was exhausting, but massive success came from it. Massive happiness, joy, connections, friendships, abundance, all the things. And I feel that this root chakra fear, really diving into that and just going for it, just allowing yourself to go for it. For me, that's been like a big message in my life. And I know that you and I've talked about this before. And that's all the root. It's all the root, moving past it.
I always leap before I'm ready. It's the number one thing I help my clients with, because you can let perfectionism hold you back for ever. Forever and ever. And the failure piece is a very interesting piece that I've been studying recently, because failure is inevitable, which is a weird thing to wrap your head around, but it is going to happen. And so it's kind of like, you have to hear no a certain amount of time, a lot of people say. So can you just go for no? And this is more of like, in your business, if people are entrepreneurs. I don't know if there's that many entrepreneurs in this group or not, but can you just go for no? Because you're going to hear it. And the quicker you can hear it, because you learn how to speak, you learn what's going on in your heart. You're changing your energy system the whole time you're doing anything all day. So whether you want to sit on the couch and that's going to change your energy system in that way, or go out there and start to get things activated and moving, even if that's hearing no, most of the time it's like, okay, it wasn't for you, and we really do get over it quickly, but it's just in our mind that we won't get over it quickly. So it's kind of like go for no as many times as you can, and a lot of them turn into yeses, and then it's a surprise, and it's a beautiful thing.
Oh, I love that. Totally. Just the clarity of no just helps us refocus into what really is a yes for us. That's what I'm hearing you say. And no's are not rejection. No is just an honoring of the other person's needs and your own needs, and it creates the space for what's truly in alignment. So Erin is messaging us. She says, I need serious work in my root chakra right now. I have been so excited to launch my business and then was on the receiving end of some serious negativity from someone close to me. Now I feel very adrift and unsure of my path. I am trying to re-anchor myself, and I know I need work on my root chakra for this.
Yeah.
Oh, love.
Yeah. This is a really interesting thing that happens when people up level and people, you see people on a spiritual path a lot of times lose relationships, friendships, relationships. They move where they're at. Their community shifts a little bit, and there is a bittersweet piece to that. But this is heart chakra work, where heart chakra is all about affinity. And so if you think about two things will bond because they're the same, or because they're missing something and the other has that, right? So often this is why when you reflect back on a relationship that's lost, there's always a learning lesson, because it was probably that you guys were filling something for each other, and then you have fulfilled that yourself, which is always the goal. We always work on ourselves to fulfill ourselves. But what happens to that is when you were fulfilling something for someone else, or they were fulfilling it for you, then you don't necessarily need them in that capacity anymore. And hopefully you can move on together. Just because you're up leveling doesn't mean everyone goes away, but a lot of people have a need, and that's their own energy system to fill that for you. And so that's a heart chakra thing, but that means you're making your heart stronger. You are becoming more whole and complete, and that's all the work of the heart chakra. So it's hard because that's not your work. Your work is that you're doing it. I mean, every time that happens, I can look at the person that it's happening to and hear and know and feel that they're becoming more whole, which is what we all strive for. And we want other people to want that for us. And sometimes, it's their own work where they don't. But also launching your business, working on your root chakra and launching your business is your path, and totally let's do it, because you might just show that person the way as well. They're scared. It's fear. It's their own first chakra business right now. But if you actually do it, they might have fear for you, and you are successful, they're either going to fall away or they're going to up level with you. And when you activate your own chakras, you tend to activate everyone around you. It just takes time.
Awesome. That's so tangible. Thank you for sharing that. And what's coming up for me is I'm just thinking sometimes we have a lot of fear come up, and we lose that feeling of trust, of inner trust, of trust in the yoniverse, of trust that it is all going to work out, and we're in this abundant universe where there's expansion and possibilities. When we lose sight of that, and when I lose sight of that, the first thing I do is more self-care. And again, what Sarah was saying earlier, how she admires my ability to go out into nature, even when it's freaking freezing out in Michigan and there's snow everywhere, and going hiking in my snow boots and my snow pants. That connection to Mother Earth, that self-care time, that pause, that, okay, there's so much mind chatter. How can I just come back into my body? How can I take care of myself, my earth connection, working out, yoni steaming, taking an Epsom salt bath? When I'm able to get into that space, then usually that trust builds. It builds within myself and the way I care for myself. And then that trust is increased, and then it flows out into all other directions. So Erin says, thank you. We love you. Thank you for asking. And then so finally, Sarah, because I feel like we could just talk forever, and I definitely would love to host you back here sometime. Yeah. This is so fun. You're just a wealth of knowledge, and really appreciate your reflections. So I wanted to ask you, so all of this root chakra work that we're talking, I know that you have a new program coming out called Root Down to Rise Up. And this is fun because it's actually a superfood program. And I have had the amazing experience to try some of Sarah's superfoods, and they're amazing. I put them in my smoothie and my oatmeal and everything. And so I'd love for you to share a little bit about your program, and as well as where we can find you. Where can we stay updated with you?
Definitely. Yeah, so the program is Root Down to Rise Up. It's really focused on the lower 3 chakras. It's 21 days. So, they say it takes 21 days to change a habit. So this is all about sustainable change and sustainable activation, if you will. So instead of just like getting it done and moving really quickly, we're going to take our time and do chakra 1, chakra 2, chakra 3 over the 3 weeks. And the thing about the superfoods is the superfoods are, I have a brain booster superfood, so that's going to be the higher chakras, and it's going to go in, it's going to go in and start to activate those. So what we're doing is we are activating, and we also have one for the heart, a green energy one. So we're activating these upper chakras. So what we're going to focus on is yoga and different ideas, different work to really root down. So we're going to be activating both at the same time and really getting that channel secure and strong. So yeah, it's a superfood and chakra activation program. The whole program is just adding in 1 superfood meal per day. And it's not like a cleanse where you shouldn't, whatever that you do in your life, I want you to keep doing. And then we're just going to work on sustainably adding in more of the good stuff. So 1 meal, snack, smoothie, elixir, whatever it is per day. I made a bunch of elixir recipes today, so I'm like all elixared up right now.
Yeah, me too, girlfriend.
I moved on to water. I was like, I gotta settle down and go to bed at some point. But so we just add 1 of those in each day. There's a beautiful recipe book that comes with all sorts of recipes, and you just pick and choose if someone wants to, finds a new way or whatever, however they want to add it in. But there's a whole bunch of recipes for them to follow. So we add that in. We have a course community. I mail the superfoods out so they can pick either the green energy or the brain booster. And yeah, we'll talk about chakras, and each week I'll send out a yoga flow where people can really get into their body on a physical level. And there's a little bit of pranayama and breath work in there as well. So it's really, we're hitting the chakras in a lot of different ways in this program. So rooting down to rise up.
Yay, it sounds so much fun. So we'll post the link. We'll post it in this video. So if you're interested in checking that out more, we'll have that available.
Yeah, and I did a special for this group because Allie was so sweet to have me come in the group. So anyone who signs up with Allie, we have a 10% off code to use for just anyone in this group, and that is just Goddess. It's all lowercase. We'll post that as well, but that'll get you 10% off. There's a regular basic program, and there's also a VIP, which comes with both superfood blends and then a one-on-one session if anyone wants to really dive deep into their own chakra system. And it can be a lot of different things. It can be anything you have going on health-wise, diet-wise, or even like for your business, because the chakras are your energy system. So I work with a lot of people on their business because that's getting your energy behind your business, and that's really how you get into flow. So that one-on-one can be, whatever that person is needing.
Beautiful. So I would love to just smudge the energy around here. So if anyone is feeling root chakra stuff come up, especially as we've been talking, let's clear it out. Let's clear it out in our ending ceremony. And also, where can we find you?
Definitely. So I'm the chakra coach on Instagram. Obviously Sarah Birney on Facebook, but I also have a Facebook group that's been amazing. It's called the Chakra Collective. There's about 750 women in there that, we're doing some amazing stuff. It's growing quick and we're having fun. So people can come in there. It's all women, but if you're a lady, which I think you have all women too, so everyone's invited.
Thank you.
I'll post a link to my website.
Yeah, we'll do that at the bottom of this video, or about at the bottom of our description of this video. So let's do a little closing. If you want to sit with your spine erect wherever you're at, either feet flat on the floor or cross-legged, spine erect. If you are driving, focus on the road, but you can sit with your spine erect and just taking some deep cleansing breaths coming into your body. On your next exhale, allow yourself to exhale fully to the place of full decompression. And as you exhale, allow that energy to flow down into Mother Earth, growing roots into her soil, just fully surrendering, and exhale to her. And on your inhale, breathe in the energy of Pachamama throughout your whole system. Breathing in trust and filling your body up with that life force, expansive affirmations of trust. And exhale again, surrender, just let it all go, decompress into the mama, trusting her and her cycles, her seasons, her life seasons. And again, breathing up that energy on your inhale, trust into your root chakra, reprogramming with a sense of stability, with grounding energy, self-trust, trust in others. And exhale, clearing that out from the root, feeling empowered, feeling whole, feeling your roots staying deep in Mother Earth, trusting that they are always there. All we need to do is remember them, and that we can build that communication and that trust in any moment. And coming back into the heart space, thanking yourself for coming here today, listening to this video, honoring yourself of whatever came up, whatever emotional processes, mental processes you became aware of that you got to honor and work through and heal. Honoring Sarah for her knowledge, and honoring the mother. Blessings, goddesses. Coming back into the present moment, wiggling your body, coming back into this online portal, this temple space, feeling whole, feeling ready, feeling activated. And thank you, Sarah. We love you so much, and we appreciate your wisdom and for being here with us today.
It's been so good to hang out with your group and be in here, and I look forward to connecting with people further and really hearing what's going on with everybody.
I love it. All right, blessings. Love you so much. Love you all.